What's going on, everyone? My name is Klimasara, and I'm a member of the Border Regional Library Association, which is a local organization that covers the Las Cruces, El Paso, Borderplex region. And BRLA offers a wide range of scholarship opportunities, programs, services to children, those involved in the library community, advocating for information literacy, and so on and so forth. And the reason I'm here today is to talk about my interest group that I'm a chair of, which is the Employment and Mentorship Group. This video is specifically targeting those who may be struggling finding a employment opportunity in the library profession and they just graduated library school. Maybe it's been several years later, or maybe you're still in library school and it's about that time to wrap up and you're going to seek employment. This video is definitely for you. If employment within the library field is your goal and you're not quite there yet, I promise you this video will help you out if you just listen to me for the 10 or 15 minutes I talk to you. If you want me to, I'm going to give you a little bit of background information about me, just so you know who I am and why is this man talking about this stuff. My name is Klimasara, as you know. I'm 32 years old and I graduated library school in 2016. Upon graduating library school, I really personally thought I was going to find a librarian job easy, but I was completely wrong. Graduating school was just the beginning for me, and actually acquiring employment within my profession I really loved was the true challenge. Today I'm going to talk about 5 things I felt were important to acquire employment, which is the library type, experience in getting involved, your resume and interviewing, and hopefully it brings to light some things you may have questions about. Maybe if you have a little bit of stubbornness, maybe it'll eliminate your stubbornness, or maybe it'll just elaborate on things you didn't even think of considering. We all could get better, we all could work on each other. Point is, I'm hoping this video helps you in one way or another. Before I actually got involved or took anything seriously to the level of my colleagues' recommendations and those around me, I was really struggling. And when I listened to my colleagues and other professional librarians, things came a lot easier and I reached my goal. Thankfully, I really do appreciate them. And this video is a tribute to those who have helped me, and also the things I've learned from them within BRLA and outside of BRLA, within the El Paso Public Library, the Las Cruces Public Library. This video is to thank you, as well as help those who may have struggled the same way I did, especially those in my employment and mentorship interest group. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about, what I listed, was library type. I think it's very important while looking for a job and while getting serious in becoming a librarian, or if you're sitting on the sidelines still looking for a job, please ensure you consider the library type you want to work at. When I say this, do not go about applying for different library type jobs and just throwing in applications to have a high quantity of applications and resumes and hoping to get that phone call. You really do want quality in your applications, and choosing a library type will help you. Not only will it help you with your resumes and applications and interviewing, but it's going to give you a clear goal that you want to achieve, and it's going to give your resumes a purpose. It's going to give you a purpose, and you're going to be more direct in your answers with where you want to go and what you want to do with your degree. So after considering your library type, if you haven't already done that, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, let's talk about experience. So before I became a librarian, and before I started getting involved to acquire my job and to sell myself and promote myself better, I didn't have much experience. I thought being a work study and a clerk and a paraprofessional was enough experience to jump up to the next level. Of course, with my library school degree as well too. The bad news is it's not. It's not. You may think that, but it's not. You need actual professional related experience. A work study does work in a library to some capacity. A clerk does work in the library in some capacity, and they are very vital for our field, and so are other paraprofessional positions. I thank you so much for them, but it's a different responsibility, and you need to acquire the experience. And how will you go about acquiring the experience? Some of you may love this, some of you may not. I didn't love it so much at first, but when I opened my mind and I truly love what I did and do for a living, it didn't even feel like volunteering. But you need to volunteer. You need to get involved and join organizations and associations such as this one, like BRLA, so you could collaborate, network, and have a platform to showcase your skills and abilities and your potential. The more you get out there, the more you get involved, the more people see your experience and see your confidence and see your work, it's going to help you. How may you get involved? You can volunteer at your local public library. You could fill out a volunteer application. You could volunteer. Libraries will take volunteers in a heartbeat. And organizations such as BRLA, TLA, ALA, they love volunteer work as well too. There's several committees you could join that interest you, that are geared towards a library type if you may want one. The purpose is to just get involved. Say you want to be a children's librarian, for example. Try to get involved in children-related programs. The point is, build that experience, work with children. You want to get involved in academic libraries, try to volunteer at an academic library. You want to get involved in you want to work at a public library, try to target getting involved at a public library and maybe working with the director there and getting involved with some of the programs they have, or working on a little collection development with some supervision. Whatever they allow, just try to get involved. The reason you want to get involved is not only because it'll give you the skills you need to succeed in the role, but it'll also give you a better ability to sell yourself on your resume. Which brings me to my next point, your resume. Your resume is going to want to be specific to what you are applying for. When I initially filled out my resume, I was listing my jobs that I did as a teenager in my early 20s, and I was not getting any responses. And why did I honestly do this? Why did I honestly list all of the other things outside of my profession? The truth is because I didn't have no experience, and it was almost a way just to fill out the resume, so it was a lot of irrelevant items that I put within that document. And I hope that doesn't sound familiar to any of you, but that was my case, and if it does, just work on getting that experience so you could build your resume. You're gonna need to get experience so you could build that resume to actually compete with all of the other librarians in the world. And also to be confident in doing your job. When you gain experience, your confidence levels goes up, and I mean, I feel like I'm good at what I'm doing now, and just because I feel like I'm good at what I'm doing now, I really enjoy my line of work. In addition to that, you don't need excess pages in your resume if they're not required. If you have the experience and the skills needed for the resume, it doesn't require you to have excess pages. If you have too many pages, people who are going through the resumes may skip things anyways. So a good general rule is probably 2 pages, maybe even 1 page, but you do not need 7 to 10 pages. Don't let quantity fool you over quality, is all I'm trying to get at. My original resume was 5 pages, and it was related to all of my other lines of work and a little bit about libraries. After I fixed that one and touched it up and had advice from my colleagues, my final resume was 1 page. That's it, 1 page. And it landed me an interview at Las Cruces. It landed me an interview for El Paso Community College. And it landed me other interview opportunities that I declined. I currently have a CV now that is several pages, and some places do require a CV. I'm specifically focusing on resumes though, so don't always get fooled by the quantity over quality thing, is my general rule. And always try to relate your experience to the job which you are applying for. while filling out resumes or applications, please focus on the language and the grammar that is used in the job description. You want to focus on that. If they're using a certain language, certain terms, certain types of technological resources on that job description, be sure to include it. Do not forget to do that. If you beat around the bush and talk about all your tons of other experiences but leave out the requirements of the job, it's really going to hurt you. And that's why it's very important to have focused resumes, because you want to pay attention to the terminology used in your job postings, wherever you may be applying. So consider those things when you look for your when you fill out your resume. The last thing I do want to talk about is also interviewing. When I did acquire my first interview, it was amazing, and I jumped out of my chair, yippee! And I thought I won the lottery. And then I walked into that interview, and they asked me my first question, and I froze. And I started stuttering, and I was nervous. So I let my nerves get the best of me in my first interview. And you know what I did? I shut down the laptop, closed the screen. They tried to call me back, and I never responded again. That was one of the biggest regrets I had in my life, and it was because my nerves killed me. I worked so hard to get an interview, and I closed my screen, and I had to move on. My nervousness, my confidence just wasn't there. It just wasn't my day. I fast forwarded. My second job interview, I believe, was at Dallas. I felt ready. I was so excited that I had another interview. Opened my screen. I felt a little more confident. I answered a couple of questions pretty confidently. And then came across a question, and it absolutely destroyed me. And I didn't answer the question like I would have liked to, and it destroyed the rest of the interview for me, and I lost my nervousness, I lost my confidence, I built that nervousness back up, and I failed again. So my biggest tip for you when interviewing is go prepared. It sounds so cliche, and also go confident. You don't want your nerves to destroy you. You want to be prepared, you want to be confident, you want to showcase your skills. You want them to know you can handle stressful situations. If they see nervousness, they may question your capability of handling stressful situations on the job. Everyone knows interviews are pretty nerve-wracking, but you still want to see confidence when you're going through the interviewing process. So my piece of advice from my biggest struggles is being prepared, which I already said 3 times already, and being confident. Don't let the nervous bug bite you. In addition to that, practice interviewing with colleagues. Maybe even choose a stranger and get them to ask you questions, just so you can get rid of those nerves. And be prepared as best as possible. Think of questions they may ask you. I mean, you're obviously involved in libraries in some capacity. You obviously have some type of experience. You obviously have the degree. Try to think of all the skills and things you may want at your library, and think of those questions you may ask someone, and write those down. And if you find a question that they may ask you on an interview that just throws you off guard, don't feel like you need to answer the question within the first second. You could pause, you could wait 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and think of your answer. Don't let questions throw you off. Really assess the question and give a good direct answer. Overall, those are my general tips for helping you seek a job. It comes to library type. Please choose a good library type you'd like to work at. Build experience and get involved. Build your resume and be specific to the library you'd like to work at, and focus on the terminology and language used in the job postings. And be confident and prepared at your interviews. I know these things sound so cliche, and I hope you pick something up from my experiences and my job searching struggles. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm also going to post my email address in this video, I'm going to post the link for BRLA within this video because I think it's really important for you to get involved, especially if you're within this region. If you have any questions about BRLA or employment and mentorship, please message me. I do only offer my employment and mentorship services to BRLA members, so I won't be able to get into too much detail if you do see questions unless you are a BRLA member, but I'll still definitely help you out with some capacity if you reach out to me. And please, I wish you the best of luck in your job searches. If you're a librarian in the field who is seeking employment, I wish you the best of luck. And I'm going to close this off by saying, please, as a student, as an unemployed professional, as someone who is seeking a job or maybe trying to look for a job, be willing to take criticism from those around you. It'll make you a better person. It'll teach you about how you can go about improving yourself professionally. It did so much for me. Be willing to take the criticism and advice from all of your colleagues, superiors, friends, co-workers who are within the field. They definitely have been through and went through that, and they're telling you these things for a reason. And if you were like me in any shape, way, or form, who, you know, I'm a very independent person, I felt like I needed to do things my way or the highway. Don't do that when it comes to careers. Take advice from those around you who are involved in the careers. And if you're already doing that, great. You're on to a great start. And I basically want to conclude this video thanking those in BRLA, thanking my head librarian, Laura Lee, thanking Carlos Humphreys, thanking those in the Las Cruces Public Library, thanking those in the El Paso Public Library. If you know me to some way, shape, form, or capacity, you know you've probably helped me out or worked with me in the past. And these tips that I'm offering, those are direct results of working with you and taking all of your advice. Remember, everyone has their own opinions, ways, and shapes or forms of seeking a job and looking for things, and some people may say certain things are better one way or another, but the purpose of seeking multiple opinions in this related matter is because you're going to do it as best as you can with all of that feedback. And I hope my feedback has offered some form of help to you. I thank you very much. You all have a great one.